Oh, hey, everybody. Are we recording?
It looks like it's recording to me. Yep.
Okay, awesome. Well, welcome to the Magic and Wisdom of Essential Oils. This is our October version and our pre-conference pep rally because the NAHA conference is coming up. But we're also getting ready for winter and our colder season here in the Northern Hemisphere. So we're going to be talking
Mhm.
about supporting your immune system, your Wei Qi, and you've got an antiviral, Auntie Vi blend, and I
Well,
have my travel companion blend I'm going to talk about today. So, and hopefully, Laura Stainer from Bespoke Aromatherapy is going to come on because she's going to be part of my I'm going to mention her in my presentation tomorrow.
cool.
And I wanted to start with a quote from Oliver Wendell Holmes. And I want you to think about this quote in relationship to when you put an essential oil on an acupoint, there's really no going back. So,
Oh my.
in the words of Oliver Wendell Holmes, a mind that is stretched by a new experience can
Okay.
never go back to its old dimensions.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
I know. I was
Yeah.
looking at that this morning thinking, wait a minute. This is what an embodied experience is in acuaromatherapy. So,
Speaking of which, whatever you got, if you happen to have the anti-vi, great. If not, something. Because we're going to do this under the influence, okay? We're going to expand our minds, all right?
That sounds kind of kinky, but okay.
oh, I'm grabbing for some hinoki. Mm,
Nice.
sounds
It's
good. Oh,
an
Nancy
there's
Lubin's here.
okay.
I don't
Shari's
know what to
roommate.
grab.
I'm going to do this because I'm going to be in a garden today teaching a class, and everything is Qigong to me right now, especially when I'm teaching. Okay. And it means energy work. Okay. So I think plants probably are the original Qigong masters because
Yes.
they catch a photon. Okay. And they cycle it and they get sugar out of it. I mean, sweet. Okay. And
Yes.
all hell breaks loose from there. Okay. So
Right. Nancy,
inhale.
we're grabbing an oil, any oil, and just taking a nice deep breath, and we're gonna shift our energies here.
And exhale. I can hold it any longer. I'm going to do it a second time.
Yeah, taking in breath and then a sharp little spike at the end. And as
And
Joseph says,
the third time's the charm.
yeah.
Inhale. And again. Okay. So, yeah, it's the fall. Yeah, we're dealing with changes in weather. Yeah, we're
Mhm.
dealing with an increase in colds and flus. In a couple weeks, less than a couple weeks, we'll be traveling. You and I, Angela, will be traveling from the West Coast. Shari, you'll be traveling from further on the East Coast down to Florida. All of those things are climate changes. Okay. So I'm expanding to mine largely here. Okay.
Yes, and good morning, Laura. It's glad to have you here. We're
Good
just getting
morning.
started.
Okay. So, what traditionally in natural time is a climate change is called the changing of a season. Okay. Or the changing of the seasons. All right. And the weather changes, and what you need to do on your surfaces, especially your respiratory surfaces. And for trees, those are needles and leaves. Okay. For flowering plants, there's going to be the leaves. This is where they're going to switch oxygen and carbon dioxide. And because they do that, we get to switch carbon dioxide and oxygen. All right. Sweet. Again. All right. Take a breath and just remember that one.
Yeah, take a nice deep breath, especially if you're out in nature, because those plants created the air that you are breathing. So we are
Right.
so connected to nature.
And we think about the CO2 that we exhale, they inhale, and we think about the oxygen that they exhale and we inhale. But there is so much more that they put into the air. Okay. And they don't put it into air for our benefit, but it benefits us. Okay. So a leaf is going to protect itself, especially a young leaf, from something munching on it, a bugaboo, okay, or maybe a virus. Okay? And I'll mention this now. We'll go into it a little bit more later. Eucalyptus is a very old genus on the planet, okay, and it's been fighting viruses for about 100 million years. Um, my daughters might disagree, but that's a lot older than I am, okay? And it's evolutionarily learned a lot by doing that. And one of the ways it's learned is a thing called eucalyptol, which a lot of other plants have. Now, and they have other essential oils that protect both their chi producing mechanism as far as energy and their respiratory energy as far as oxygen and carbon dioxide going in and out smoothly. Okay. If I'm going to go Chinese medicine on you too to kind of change the culture and change the climate, all right, that's going to be my lung chi and my spleen chi. These are the chis that get me moving. Okay. What I breathe, what I eat, diet and exercise. Anyone ever heard of those things? Diet and exercise?
Mhm. Hi,
Okay.
Roxandra.
Okay.
Nice to see you
And
today.
historically, we've evolved in an environment where the seasons change slowly a bit at a time, sometimes more rapidly with a storm. Okay. Now we can go from the West Coast to the East Coast and from northern to southern latitudes in less than a day. Okay. And that's a huge climate change. So our boundaries, our skin, our lungs, our mucous membranes are all going, what the heck is happening? It's changing. Right. Plants, especially I'll use the trees, have evolved a system where they put into their leaves oils that emanate. This is what you smell when you go into the forest. So along with the humus, the forest floor, you're smelling their breathing protecting, their immune system protecting, their respiratory system protecting oils. And generally they smell good, though I'm going to just say not all eucalyptus smell good to me. All right. So, long story short, we're dealing with the climate change of the seasons. We're dealing with the climate change of modern day travel. And then we're dealing with the climate change of where we are on the planet at this time. Right. So, I'm going to stretch it and say this exact formula, I like it a lot. Okay. I can give you a little bit about how I came about it. But the idea of the formula is more powerful than the actual individual pieces to it. You do have to have actual individual pieces to it, but you can blend one using your own sense of leaf oils, okay? Then a citrus oil to kind of make it smell better and kind of brighten it up. And then there's
Green.
two oils. There's a frankincense and a helichrysum to make it softer and easier on the mucous membranes and on the skin. Okay. I'll
Yeah.
I'll just stop for a minute there and just kind of see what sort of questions we might have, and then I can play with the formula. We can talk. And Lord knows we
Well,
can talk.
Nancy also posted the climate change from outdoors to indoors.
Absolutely.
I know Nancy's a big outdoor person for the winter because she does some skiing and things like that, but coming back indoors can be another climate change. And summertime too, like we're going to be in and out of air conditioning in Florida, and that always wreaks havoc on me.
Hmm.
So,
That's actually what I was thinking about was, you know, being outside most of the time. Some of us spend a fair amount of time outside. And then you end up in, hotel conference rooms, which is exciting,
mhm,
not very exciting. Um, and all of a sudden going from being somewhat by yourself to being with 150 or 200 people
yeah,
and closed in and
mhm,
air conditioning.
Hmm.
exactly. Yeah.
No, refrigeration, not air conditioning. It's refrigeration.
Oh,
Right.
there you go.
Feel
Well,
like I'm in a refrigerator.
the
Right.
other thing is most air conditioners tend to dry the air or send out drier air than the surrounding humidity of the outdoors. So
Mhm,
there tends to be a drying effect along with a cooling effect.
right. Joseph, before you get into your uh the recipe that you've used for your Auntie Vi and everything. I know Laura's traveling today, so
Hmm.
I kind of wanted to pop in with her in case she loses her connection or has to get on the road again. Is that all right?
That's good by me.
Okay. I wanted to hi Laura. I'm so excited to see you. And it's your Thanksgiving equivalent of Thanksgiving this weekend, right? So you're out traveling.
I
Um,
actually have arrived at my destination, so I do have a little bit of time. I just don't really know if my signal is very strong.
Right.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll do this. Laura is going to be one of the featured aromatherapists in my presentation at NAHA. So I wanted you to kind of get a preview and meet her. She has a bespoke aromatherapy and she's in Canada, Eastern Canada. Eastern Canada, right? Yeah, you're Eastern.
Southwestern, so like
Oh,
near Detroit.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And she has this beautiful program that's called Tend Together. And um, she's been through the level one aromatherapy certification program. You started out as a nurse, but then you got burnt out, right? And then you became an aromatherapist and said, I want to help that way. So,
Correct.
can you tell us a little bit about the community? And then, is there a link or an invitation for people to come and join you?
Sure. Thanks, Angela, for asking me on and for including me in your NAHA presentation. Um, So I created this online community. It's free to join because I was really trying to get away from social media. I still have a lot of things I want to say and a lot of things I want to share. But after I learned that the lifespan of a Facebook or Instagram post is only 3 hours, I was like, why am I doing this? I'm sick of screaming into a void because I think this work is the work that we all do is really important and it's just
Mhm.
getting kind of it's not being seen. So I had a nice number of people already on my email list. And so I thought, these people are there, the a lot of them are opening the emails, so I think they'd be interested in, seeing my Instagram. Anything I'd be posting on Instagram, I've just decided to post in this group instead. And the benefits of it are that unlike Instagram or some of the apps, you can actually put links that, are clickable and you can attach, I can attach PDFs, I can do all kinds of things. Um, the only downside to it is that guests have to actually log on to go look at everything. But I think too, that's a nice way of keeping it quiet and keeping you in control of what you feel like taking in. Like maybe you don't want to be inundated with posts and information one day. Well, when you do feel like learning something or looking at something, you can just go log in.
And
So,
I love the four sections that you've put it in. You've got essence,
yes. So
presence,
there, yep.
rewiring, and compassion. And so you can go and choose those little sections that you want to come and look at information.
Yeah. So if you feel like learning about mindfulness, there's posts on that. If you just want to learn about aromatherapy, then you look at the posts on essence. And the thing is too, I kind of, because I'm just a very creative person by nature, I I just when something kind of inspires me, then I'll write a post about it. I was tired of feeling like I was in these tight constraints of like I should be doing this and I should be posting this and I'm just tired of shooting on myself. So when I feel called to share something, it just goes in one of those categories and then once I post and then I send everyone an email being like, "Okay, in the membership there's a post about this, that and the other. If you feel like it, go look at it."
Mhm.
Um and because I have a lot of knowledge, like not only, I mean, it has nothing really to do with the nursing background, but I got a micro credential in something called emotional health practitioner, and it talks about like the rewiring section is talking about how we can reprogram these very well-traveled neural pathways that we all have that create these habits of behavior and emotion. And
Mhm.
because yeah, aromatherapy is amazing and it works awesome for mental health, but understanding just the way neuroscience works and the way your brain works kind of takes a lot of that shame away from being like everything that I feel is because there's something wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
because I felt that way for a very long time, that because I felt bad, I was bad, and everything that was going on was my fault,
Mhm. Yeah.
which I
Mm-hmm.
don't believe that anymore.
Good,
So,
good. Well, I
yeah,
really
that's the kind of
consider,
gist of the.
yeah, I mean,
Go
I
ahead.
really consider you one of those innovators, and that's why I wanted to bring, the work that you're doing with acuaromatherapy beyond just beyond being a certified aromatherapist to see
Mhm.
what's possible in this realm. And we can touch on any of these. We can touch on immune system or emotional rewiring or staying connected. And I feel like you're an inspiration for others who have not only gone through the level 1 program, but are wanting to create more and tired of all that static that's out there that feels meaningless most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you
So,
so much for saying that. That's so sweet, Angela. Thank you. That means
no,
so much to me coming from you. And so, of course, acuaromatherapy is going to be featuring heavily in what I'm doing going forward. Um, but everything is a slow process, and I have to just take the pressure off. And so eventually, the membership will have more points and more of that experience that I'm collecting just working with people.
Mm-hmm.
But also like a businesswoman needs to, I am working on putting out some paid offerings because girls got to have some money, right? Um, and another interesting thing I actually wanted to share with you too is that last weekend or 2 weeks ago, I did a breathwork class. I did the CAOA offered a breathwork training. So I'm going to be holding my first, it's like an acuaromatherapy circle slash breathwork class.
Mm-hmm.
So, because
yay!
acuaromatherapy goes with it, I mean, it literally goes with everything. So so it'll
No.
be a women's circle, but we're gonna do points, we're gonna do breath techniques, and it's following a theme of balance.
Mm.
And I'm really excited. I'm doing like a
Mm-hmm.
trial run with just some friends and my sisters, like next week, Friday. And so I think that's gonna be a really good little
Mm-hmm.
regular group that I can hold.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to come back on next month and give us a report from how that went and what
Yeah,
is coming from that. But
Cool.
if you can put the link into how people can go to the Tend Together, so we can get some
I
more
don't know if I
people.
can I do that
Can you
here
go to
on my
chat?
phone?
Yeah, you should be able to get to chat on the at the bottom somewhere on there.
Okay,
Um,
let me.
I mean, I've
Okay,
got my member. If they just go to bespokearomatherapy.ca,
yeah, if you even just link in if you're able to, I'm just not that great on a phone. I'm so much better
okay, that's
I need a
okay.
keyboard.
I'm gonna
Yeah, if you link my website right in in the website in the menu, it'll say membership.
I've
And
got the website posted in the chat here, so
yeah,
Got
that
it.
should get them there.
yes.
All
Thank you
right.
Yeah.
so
Cool.
much.
I
So
know you're traveling, but thank you so much for having the time to come and say hello to us and
Oh, thank you.
share.
Yes, I
yeah,
have to get back
Laura.
to the campsite. Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, Joseph.
Hi. But may I introduce myself and good to meet you.
So nice to meet you. So nice to
Yeah.
meet you too.
Yeah. And you're combining breath work with the acuaromatherapy. You're basically doing qigong with not a Chinese accent, um, and a modern accent or modern. You're getting someone to be aware. Well, one of the things I love in acuaromatherapy is it starts at self-care, and there's a embodied experience with that. So if we can take someone through an embodied experience, the idea that something might work is proven by the fact that it's working, right? And
Mhm.
you've frozen, but I'm going to still say hi. Thank you for coming on. And we will go from there.
I'm so
All
here.
right.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Yay.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch or back in the forest, that's it. Okay. I'm going to give an idea and then I'll go through the formula a little bit, right? Um, in a forest, any particular tree is creating oils through its needles or its leaves that are going to protect its needles and its leaves so it can protect its energy making. and it can protect its respiration. Okay. The two of those are obviously linked in an evolutionary sense, okay, through the plants. And it's focused, especially again, in the leaf structure. And we see the health of the leaf structure by the shine of the leaf, the cleanliness of the leaf. You've probably all seen leaves that have some fungus on them, okay? Black spots or something like that, right? You've all seen leaves that got munched by something, all right? So the tree evolves these chemistries, it cooks them up. It never went to an organic chemistry class, okay? All right. And so then this is a tree, but then trees tend to occur in communities. And these communities are creating these oils for their own protection and for their own immunities. And so one of the things I love that comes out of it is a forest is a community immunity growth experience experiment. Did that make some sense? Yeah, I love head nods. I like thumbs up, things like that. Nancy, I think you got it. How you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Thank you. All right. Okay. So I don't know if you can see this because I can't see the screen exactly. Can you see the formula?
No, you're not on video yet.
Oh, oh, yeah.
There we go.
We're
Okay.
back
There they
live.
are.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
also posted in the enthusiasts
Right.
group.
And one of it's in the file there. So why it may only last a few minutes on Facebook, you can still get it in the files from Facebook. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, The upper third of it has leaf or needle oils. Okay, the middle of it has a citrus, and you get to choose the citrus. And then the bottom of the formula, I'll do this again. Okay, it's got helichrysum on one side and frankincense on the other. Okay. One of the things I learned in Chinese herbal formulation, which is usually a formulation not as simple, like quite often in Western herbalism, you'll use one herb, maybe two or three. Chinese are often using 5 to 15. Okay. But you have key ideas in the formula, and if you can reproduce those key ideas with another herb that you have, and you don't have the herb that has that key idea, you can substitute it. Angela, you and I will talk about if you're using a conifer oil, you could substitute another oil. Okay, another conifer quite easily.
Mhm.
If you're using a flower oil to a degree, and it's a sweet flower oil to a degree, you can substitute another sweet flower oil. Okay. So I want to underline that this formula has flexibility because it's been used for millennia and longer by plant kingdom.
Mhm.
Okay. They make a spectrum of chemistry. Some, when we look at it from the human point of view, has a protective balance to it. Some of it has a reproductive balance to it. I mean, the trees did when the plants do not make oils because of what we need. They make oils because of what they need. And if we understand that, then we can use that to our benefit.
And I think you'll see the little variation when I tell you about the travel companion blend that I made because
Cool.
it serves the same objective, but it's just a little bit different. And so it'll be fun to see the comparison.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to play and give you a little bit of the backstory here. I'm working with Tiffany Carroll Healing Oil Collective. One of the oils we're covering is Ravensara. Okay, from Madagascar. It's not the Ravensara, so there's a whole aromatherapy piece on that, on using things that are not endangered. But what gets to me is that this stuff is very camphoraceous, okay? Has a high level of what's called eucalyptol. It's not a eucalyptus, but it has a similar chemistry, okay? And then the local translation, Ravensara, means good leaf, okay? So what's it good for? They use it for respiratory infections, okay? They use it for when there's lung challenges, sinus challenges. It's camphoraceous. It opens that. A key part of that camphoraceousness is, in fact, that good old eucalyptol. Now, I want to make sure I don't lose. One chemistry does not a blend make, and plants never do one chemistry. They're doing a spectrum, again, a highly evolved spectrum. So I start looking up what's got eucalyptol, okay? Because I can't always get robin sorrow, so what could I use? Well, here's eucalyptus, there's laurel, and there's rosemary, okay? So a lot of plants in nature have taken this highly evolved cooking that creates this respiratory protective molecules or sets of molecules so that the plants can keep on breathing, right? Now, this is in August of 2019. In October of 2019, I'm keyed into some of the stuff that are going on in China, and I hear that this place called Wuhan has a mysterious thing going down. Okay. What's going to end up being called COVID-19 without going into any of the politics of it. Right. So I start looking at things that are going to be respiratory protective that have an influence, especially on the corona family of viruses, common cold, quote unquote. Okay. And also the herpes family. There's actually a lot of good aromatherapy and botanical information on this. All right. And I find again eucalyptus, I find again laurel, and I find again rosemary. All right. So I'm a dancer. I have a big community that I'm part of, 2 hours a day, 5 rhythms. These are my people. This is my tribe. Okay. So I have connection to a garden I'll be at later today. I pick a bunch of rosemary. I wash it, I clean it, I dry it. I pick a bunch of laurel. I wash it, I clean, I dry it. Okay. I didn't have any robin sorrel there. Okay. So I got the rosemary, got the loyal, and then there's beautiful little eucalyptuses. Okay. And I took bushels of them, baskets of them, and put them on the stage for everybody to take home to make the breathing over the holidays better for them. Okay. Shit hits the fan. That's a technical term. I don't know if you've heard it before. I use it advisedly. Uh, in California, we go into lockdown in the middle of March. Okay. And I start making this stuff into oils that first I call good leaf. Okay. But then I don't have any robin sorrel left. So I have to think of another name. And here comes Auntie Vi. Okay. And antiviral. And again, I want to stress this is not a cure. This is a preventative. Okay. It's no one has ever done an experiment using antivi against live viruses because that would just be stupid. Okay. It would be dangerous to your subjects along with yourself. And that doesn't mean you can't do something prevention that's better than cure. All right. So I make this blend and I make it so that you can actually put it in a bottle with a roller ball and put it on your skin. So essentially, I could emulate the leaf shine on my skin shine. I wasn't drinking too much moonshine, so I just want to make sure that I got across.
I've
Okay.
also taken your anti-Vi blend and put it in a rosemary hydrosol.
Mm-hmm.
Used it as, like just spritz my hands a little bit as a sanitizer.
Yeah. I'm going to highlight one other chemistry. Um, the black spruce, okay, has what's called boronal acetate. And boronal acetate acts like a mild steroidal regulator. Okay. So in Chinese medicine, it helps the kidney qi and helps the immune qi in regulating the response. Okay. Um, it's interesting when this was in the Facebook group, someone replied to it, oh, that's a lot like the house cleaner that I made during the pandemic. Okay. Um, it's basically like June, maybe it's May. I'm down in Santa Fe and I meet with Kurt Schnabloch, and he's got a formula very similar to this that he added the black spruce. So this is when I added black spruce to mine. Okay. Um, uh, the point I tried to get online with the woman who posted before, I'll remember her name sometime soon, was these ideas were in the atmosphere, were in the emotional, mental climate in response to the challenge of the virus. Okay. And, you know, that's why I put this out is so people would have something to play with, to work with. Um, Again, I'll go through this. This upper third is leaf oils. And this has got, both of these have eucalyptal. This has a little eucalyptal. This has the bornyl acetate in one of the highest levels in nature. Okay. In the middle is citrus. There's limonene in there. Okay. And it's also good for surfaces. And it smells better than some of the leaf oils. I'll just admit it. Okay. Down below, you've got the helichrysum and the frankincense. Both of these are majorly good for the skin and for the mucous membranes. And so if the leaf oils alone are in there, especially if you have a high level of eucalyptus, it's a little sharp on the nose. It feels like it's maybe even uh, burning the sinuses a little bit. It's very, can be very camphoraceous, and sometimes that feels like it dries you out. So I added something in there that would soften it and buffer it. Okay. So I have a respiratory protectant. The citruses bring it together and make it smell better. All right. And then the what I call the skin healers, the wound healers, the frankincense and the helichrysum make it softer, more palatable, more skin friendly, and more environmental diffuser friendly. That is the fastest I think I've ever explained that formula. Okay. Um, any questions on that? Because sometimes I go so fast, it's like, what? Nancy.
Just curious as to whether you're, I mean, I use the helichrysum, the italicum,
Hmm.
when really concerned about um, wound healing in particular.
Yep.
But there is a helichrysum Bosnia that's not quite so expensive. I think it's not Croatia. I mean, it's not the
It's
Croatian.
Bosnian. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that's because of the price, it's a good substitute because you're using it as skin friendly, but not necessarily, um, deep wound healing or pain killing, which the
Yeah.
talcum.
This will come up with the frankincenses too, because various different frankincenses are on the market. Um, the idea is that you've got a skin-friendly component. I think any of the helichrysums, okay. Um, I've seen people sell helichrysums that are native to South Africa, okay, and they have a collection of esters that makes them more skin-friendly. So yes, and another rule of thumb is you, as far as possible, use what you got, okay, and then use what is close to you. Okay. Um, the cost of helichrysum in this formula, it's actually going to be quite dilute, so that brings it down some. Okay. Um, but sometimes people have the expensive helichrysum because they like it, so go ahead and use it. All right. If you're going to make bulk of it, a mixed helichrysum would probably be a good way to go, or another species. Um, if you're lucky, the distributor of that is going to give you a breakdown of the chemistry and you can kind of double check it. And again, I've got frankincense in there, so the two of them are sharing that job. So I'm not as concerned about any one of them. And again, um, the the frankincense serrata for this use for the has a lot of good wound healing. Okay. And it's a very moderately priced frankincense, if I'm going to use that term. So
Yeah,
there's a yes there.
yeah,
Okay.
I hear you and thank you. I just think there are some people that actually don't even own helichrysum, the
Yeah.
collection, just because it's so expensive and they don't have a reason to use it and keep it
Yeah.
flowing through their inventory.
Yeah.
So just thinking out loud, and thanks for that. It's very helpful.
Well, I mean, it's expensive because it's a flower oil, and it's expensive because the skincare companies, especially the European skincare companies, pay the farmer 2, 3, 4 years in advance to get all of their crop from the farms that are noted for having a good helichrysum. So there are helichrysum futures in the world market, okay, where they buy something in the future for delivery at a specific date. And that tends to put a big floor underneath the price of something, especially for the ones that have the high-end quality. And the Bosnian, or what is it, the Corsican helichrysum is the creme de la creme. I don't know. The French probably, wait, that is French, right? Corsica is the French one. Good. Yeah.
Mm.
So I hope I made some sense there. But again, Nancy, to your question, which is an excellent one, um, the formula allows for substitution because it has to. We have to be able to make it where we are. Okay.
Right.
If you're needing it now, placing an order is going to be a few days, even by Amazon. And then you got to wonder about, what's the quality of that? If you've sourced something already that is a good quality, go for it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I personally am in pretty good shape because as a practicing aromatherapist, I have a pretty good inventory. But I think about people who go, "Oh yeah, helichrysum's on my wish list, but I don't own any." And
Right.
of course, I think that we have a lot of wonderful suppliers who
Hmm.
could buy from who aren't Amazon, and none of us
Yeah. Yeah.
need this tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely.
We all have a couple weeks before we're traveling. And the other thing I remember, there was a stretch when the Corsican helichrysum, I think they had a drought. They had a drought and the worldwide skincare community caught wind of it. Caught wind of,
Yeah.
oh, this is a
Yeah.
good thing to put. And the combination of their futures buy and a really tough year climate wise was
Oh, yeah.
helichrysum went through the roof.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll let you keep going.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
But
do you want to hear the variation with the travel
sure.
companion inhaler? I've also been using these inhaler blanks that are totally reusable. They've got a little glass container in here that I can put the wick, the cotton wick into. So I've been using those. But the blend that I have is got some wild orange, eucalyptus radiata, cinnamon bark,
Nice. Mm.
lavender, lemon essential oil, pine needle, and rosemary. So maybe a little more accessible if that's a consideration. And I usually use between 10 and 12 drops. So I'll put that combination together in a little, beaker and then just let my wick suck all that up. If I've got
Hmm.
any left in the bottom there, I will stick it in a diffuser in my studio and enjoy that. So when I get it all, uh, soaked in there, I'll put the saturated side upwards into this little apparatus, pop it in there, and this is going into my travel bag so I can travel to the conference.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Well,
I
and
do have
then
a little tiny bit in here for and
you
I'll
you
post
have
that in the enthusiast group.
you have it with you on the airplane seat. Okay. It's in your carry-on, certainly. Okay. And you comply as necessary. All right.
Mhm.
Um, the anti-Vi formula I made for people in a roller ball, right? That 10 mil that they could travel with. And many of them took this kind of an implement here,
Yep.
okay, and then rolled it on the inside and used that while they were in the air. Okay.
Absolutely.
It was mandatory at that time. Okay. Um, with the social world as it is, people are maybe going to scoff at you if you're going to put one of those on. Okay.
So,
But, it is an interesting, and this is another of the climate change pieces. Um, we're, I'm hoping that the shutdown is over by then. Okay.
yeah.
I'm not so sure that it is. Okay. And so the climate of the air traffic control system is also a concern of mine. Okay. I'm probably going to bump the frankincense and helichrysum up in mine just for my peace of mind has a mental emotional in flying. Um, so again, what I want to get across here is just like the plants, you can be adaptable in your use of these uh, tools, gifts, plant materials, your creations. Angela, can you go through the list of your oils again in your inhaler?
The
Can
list
you put
it
it in the chat?
oh yeah, I can list them in the chat, but I'll say them as well. I've got a wild orange, Citrus sinensis.
Okay.
You,
That's the citrus. Okay.
uh-huh.
I'm just,
And I've got lemon in there too. So I've got two citruses, but I just
okay.
love sweet orange and wild orange. A eucalyptus radiata and the
So
cinnamon
we know
bark.
we know the respiratories there.
Yep.
Cinnamon bark is, I don't know about the ornyl acetate, but it has a lot of that strengthen the root of the tree or strengthen the root of the kidney energy to it.
A little lavender in there, just like I want to just be a little calm too. And it has some antiviral, antibacterial properties.
Absolutely.
Pine needle. So I've brought in another conifer
There's
and
some bornyl acetate and eucalyptol both.
rosemary.
And there's
Which
both bornyl
rosemary?
acetate and eucalyptol in the rosemary.
Yep. Yep.
Which
So
you using cineol, CT cineol rosemary?
yeah, CT cineol. Yep.
One of the more camphoraceous.
Yep. So the orange, lavender, and lemon have one drop. Everything else has two drops. So that's just for the single inhaler. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I mean, it's has basically the same properties that the Auntie Vi blend has. It's just I kind of just tweaked it to my little preferences, which
Hmm.
is fun as an aromatherapist, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is, just to lean into Chinese herbology and formulation there. My formulation is based off of an old idea that's called the jade screen. And if you have jade, it can screen you from exterior evils. Okay. And so the Chinese make a powders because that's something you can travel with, and then they'll drink it. And it has components that are like these three.
Mm.
Okay. So that it's palatable and kind of digestive system friendly, which is the skin also. All right.
Mhm.
And that have that protective, like leaf sheen quality to them. So I took the concept of an ancient formula, okay, made it something I could use my ecological understanding with, okay, and then used oils to provide the, I'm going to call it cooking, but the chemistry, okay,
Mhm.
to make the blend useful. And again, for me and for very, very many of my clients and patients, it's like, and it smells better than just the jade screen powder alone, or doing it with just eucalyptus and just or rosemary.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So let's talk about maybe a couple of points we could use for placing an oil that might protect our wei qi or our be pathogen defending friendly.
Hmm. I will post later. I got to go to the garden later today. I'll post later a set of points that I put together to go with the Auntie V, so someone could use it and put it on the points.
Okay.
Because I'm that nerd, okay? I am that nerd.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. So, Shari, what point would you put this formula on before you got on a plane to maybe say go to a conference in a few days?
Mhm.
You know, that's a hard one to ask for me because as much as I like oils and all the things, sometimes just smelling the oil is enough for me. Putting it
Mhm.
on me sometimes is just a little too much,
Okay.
believe it or not. And I
Well,
know in classes I've been to, like everybody's got the oil bottles out and I
sure.
it's too much. If anything, I would probably put it on the bottom of my feet if
Hmm.
nothing else, because it's not up in my nose or whatever.
Hmm.
Or
Right.
I would just gently roll it behind my ears.
Got it. Can I
So
venture another?
sure,
So if you use something like Angela's, okay, where you got an inhaler, you can
yeah.
inhale it and then put the inhaler down, take your fingers and go to large intestine 20.
Yeah.
Okay,
which is welcoming perfume or welcoming fragrance.
okay,
Okay. Um, it's like it's handy. Okay.
okay.
Don't let people see you doing this. Okay. No, don't. Okay. But the again, one of the things I like to point out, notice the pun there, okay, is you can use the points a lot of different ways. All right. And then the substances or the chemistry or the gifts of the plants, you can also use them many different ways. Okay.
I also worry about, for on the flight, people have perfumes and all the other crap and it just, it's hard. And then if I use an oil, like even Wayne, he's like,
What is that?
well, put the damn cap on. He is so sensitive and I'm on the opposite side of the house and he's just, and I have a desk full of things here that, I might take a quick whiff of, but with him around, he's just like, don't touch me with that stuff, when he gets in a real bad spot, yes, I can put some in, or I can get him to take a bath with some Epsom salt with that stuff in it. But
Right.
he is just, yeah, fussy.
When I was running the Acupressure Institute, I would show people how to use points they could use on themselves or on someone else without anybody really noticing. Okay. And I call that sneaky pressure.
Sneaky pressure.
Okay. Um, and sometimes if you have like you had a diffuser on when someone's not in the room, and then you turn it off when they're in the room, it's sort of sotto voce. It's under they don't notice it. Okay. They still benefit from it. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I much prefer to have someone, like, oh, that would be nice. I'd like to try that. Some buy-in, if you will. Um, but especially with my girls, sneaky pressure. I don't care. I just want to make sure you can go to school, not have to stay home sick.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
Yeah.
I think there's 2 points that I love for protecting myself. I like lung 1
Yeah.
and I like kidney 27.
Hmm.
I just feel like those are 2 points. And often I'll just take a blend with some carrier oil like this and just kind of rub it in the whole general area. Like if I was going to go to bed or before I put a scarf on and went outside to protect my wind gate, those kinds of things. Um, it just gives me that. And I don't know, maybe it's just me thinking, oh, I've just put my protective shield on.
Hmm.
By applying those oils. They're there ready to protect me. So, that's sort of in my mind how that works. But, I have a
Hmm.
big imagination too. So,
Hmm. Yeah. I've used the metaphor as you're like Wonder Woman's shield,
yes.
okay? Okay. Which brings me to inner gate and outer gate. And outer gate is the shield. Okay. If I'm doing martial arts, someone's going to strike at me. I do this to stop it, and that's where they hit. Okay. So that's a great place to apply the oil. Now, Shari, I know you'll be into this one. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to venture that in a consciousness sense, at least, which is pretty expansive. I could use the idea of the oil on the end of my finger and put it there without necessarily any of the oil there.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Um,
Intention trumps technique or whatever you use. So,
yeah, I mean, especially if it smells good, I still like it. Okay. And the uh, the idea that I, as an organism, have this intent that is self-protective. I I'm not sure what the plants are thinking when they do this, but I'm pretty sure it's not wondering whether their post on Facebook will fade away in 3 minutes. Okay. Um, and so their biochemistry evolves to serve that intention. And it's not even an intention, it's a necessity in the living world to have that protection, to have that field. Um, This point is known in Chinese medicine for strengthening the Wei Qi. That's the qi that makes the field of defense around us. Turns out the Wei Qi is rooted in the Ying Qi, which is the oily, nutritious nature in the blood.
Mm-hmm.
Who knew? Who knew?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, Nancy.
Just wanted to say that I was thinking about your putting oils on you before you go out. And I was realizing that, to some extent, you're also in that moment aromatically coating your respiratory system. And that I often will put a formula similar to yours on just one drop on my hands before I walk, say, into the airport or
mhm,
into the theater, and just take the biggest huff I can, especially if I don't have an inhaler with me, but I
mhm,
often have the liquid with me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the other thing is many people sell those really nice little in decorative perforated necklaces that have
mhm.
right. And I
Like a
remember,
cotton in them or a felt in
right,
them.
they have a little
Yeah.
felt pad and they're, you, if you're someone that doesn't want to have jewelry on the outside of what you're wearing, you could stick it inside, but at least it's a place to kind of keep it near you and
Mhm.
kind of creating your own little aromatic aura without the person next to you going,
Yeah, like a little amulet. Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
Well, and again, um, it's also got some skin contact possibility, and so the body is ingesting it to a degree.
Oh, interesting thought.
Yep.
Okay. Because we don't think of it usually this way, but the skin is an ingestive organ of sorts.
Well, it does breathe. So yeah.
Y- Okay. And actually you put something on, I gotta tell you this, you women know this much better than us dudes, okay? Um, you put on a lotion because it's got some fat and some water to it, because skin takes in both hydration and emollient quality of oil. Okay. If the emollient has an oil dissolved in it and oils dissolve oils, okay, then you're actually moving that into at least the skin cells, but then through the skin cells, possibly into the circulation.
Mm.
Hey, that's an application.
Right.
I know I'm very topical, okay? But think of it that way. And again, um, Shari, I just want to underline this for all of us. The topical is even without a Western defined molecule on it, okay, is a way of enhancing the circulation of chi and blood in the area. Angela's here is enhancing the circulation of chi and blood here and adding an emollient to it. Okay. If that emollient happens to have some uh, beneficial plant cooking chemistry, fantastical. That's the kind of nerd I am. Okay.
Well, I know we're going to be cooking up some fun at the conference, and I'm excited for everyone who's going to be there. If you can't be there, I hope you've, purchased a digital pass and you can be watching things from the convenience of your own home. It's going to be, I'm just excited to be with all of my Aroma family, to see Shari again, to finally get to meet Nancy and hang out for the second time of the month with Joseph because
Yeah,
we were
yeah,
in Sebastopol a couple weekends ago.
yeah.
So that
With
was very
Gabriel
fun.
Moj, that was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. We hung out with Gabriel Moj and then Caroline, uh, oh, I don't want to say her last name wrong. Makara. Anyway, she was from the Bay Area, a student
yeah,
in the level one program, and she works in the school district and with special needs kids, and she brings in tapping and acuaromatherapy into the classroom. So big kudos to her for continuing her education and
yeah,
furthering the work that she does with youth. So
yeah.
that was good.
One more thing on Caroline. She's also volunteering with Charlotte Maxwell Clinic, which is a clinic for women with breast cancer and other cancers,
Oh yeah.
low income. And turns out that that is now headed by a former student of mine who became an acupuncturist, okay,
Wow.
after she studied acupressure at the Acupressure Institute. And thinking about how to bring in oils there, probably at an extreme, low dilution, to see what they can do as far as dealing with, the stresses and strains of going through living with breast cancer.
Mhm.
So the application of plant medicine and energy medicine is literally a growing field. Okay. And what's the back of the t-shirt say, Angela?
Follow me to the fastest growing healing modality.
Yeah, yeah. I too, I'm looking forward. Um, Shari, I feel like I've known you for years. Okay. And I actually get to give you a hug. Okay. It's like, wow, wow. Okay.
That's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, yeah.
That'll
And
be
Nancy, you're going to be there too?
Yeah, she's
I'm
my
really looking
roommate.
forward.
Thanks to Shari, we're going to talk probably right after this and solidify our plans.
Nice.
Cool.
And
We've got, yeah,
Roxandra is
Alexandra?
has bought a new hot water heater, so she'll be probably watching it digitally.
So she's in hot water, which is a good
She's in
thing this
hot
time of
water.
year. Okay. So we will
happens.
visit with you again. We'll probably do a live, maybe or two, when we're
Mhm.
down there.
We will,
Um, we'll get Jenny in there too.
because we have a
Um,
trade show booth, so we'll be
yeah,
having some fun.
yeah. Woo!
Mhm.
Um, we have all the time we need in the next 4 minutes.
Yay. Anybody have any aha moments or fun things they want to share that they're doing with aromatherapy, acuaromatherapy, anything else you're doing in your life?
I'll just add that I started to add a little thyme linalool to my defense blend. It's
Uh-huh.
it's as a thyme, obviously very strong, but that soft linalool is really lovely, and especially up where we live, sinus is such an issue.
Okay.
So it's a really wonderful sinus additive.
Yeah, that's great. Sometimes I'll add a little peppermint and thyme linalool to my blend as well, depending. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's about time we heard about that, huh?
Yeah, right.
Well, I'll just, make one more nerd point on this is like to understand the concept in a way that you can play with the concept and change the particular substances. That's the art and science in a wonderful blend. And I use that term blend advisedly. Okay. Um, this is in my curriculum stuff, this is what I call blending 101. All right. First of all, by taking a point in an oil, we're blending plant medicine and energy medicine. Okay. And then in making a blend of the plant medicines, okay, we're blending for a broader purpose or a multivariate purpose. Okay. Um, it gets to be, I always love the protocols where you use these points on these oils. And it moves out of paint by numbers into you've learned your musical scales. You're pretty good with this instrument and these tools, these strings, these notes. Now, maybe you make a little jazz. And you make jazz from what is happening now and what you need to express or protect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am that nerd. I am that nerd. Okay. I think that I'm going to make that bumper sticker now. It goes along with one I've seen recently. It's like, tell your dog I say hi.
Tell your dog I said hi. I love that one. Yeah. Tell your dog I
It's
said
like, wow.
The subheading on my aromatherapy business card says aroma geek.
hi. Aroma Geek. I like it. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Anybody else? Closing thoughts?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yep.
Safe
All right,
journey for
everybody.
everybody coming.
Yeah.
Let's send some good vibes out there. To everyone's health, their respiratory health, their immune health, to their happiness and to a beautiful fall season of letting go.
Yeah.
Mhm. Bye, everyone.
Blessings.
Bye.
Happy trails to you until we meet again.
Again.
Keep smiling.